why am I not delegating? Why am I having a hard time about it? I know some of the things I want to do, but paying someone to do them, I have a resistance about that.
Is what will the cost be to you if you don't do this?
I don't know if that bothers me as much. Not really the qualified part. I mean, who's really qualified to?
So, hello, Rachel, and welcome. Um,
Hi,
I'm
Jen.
happy to see you today, and I wonder what you had for breakfast.
Oh my gosh, good question. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I was on a women's retreat type business event that I was super excited about. And I remembered while I was there that I love granola with berries for breakfast because that was one of the breakfast options. So ever since then, I bought a whole bunch more granola. And the other day I went to the grocery store. I bought so many things of berries. It was a little bit ridiculous. And so I've been having granola and berries all week and I am over the moon about it.
Sounds fantastic. Sounds really good.
It is really good.
Uh,
Did you have a good breakfast?
I have the same kind of breakfast smoothie every day,
Ooh.
and it has berries and it has all sorts of goodies in it, and it's delicious. So
Mm.
it's like having a chocolate shake every breakfast.
Oh, I love it. You're my kind of person. We're talking about food and shakes and berries.
That's right. But you came here to talk about something else. So
Yeah, that's true. I did.
so what is it you want help with today?
Okay, so I think there's two parts to it, and they might be related or maybe not. One, I have this book that I have started working on. It's going to be a short book, and I noticed that I'm every day almost prioritizing other things besides that. I also so the book I get intuitive downloads. So the book came to me about a month ago. I was doing a meditation outside and I said, okay, I really want to write a book. I'd already kind of been working on some. I mean, I've been off and on working on books for over 10 years. And I have one novel that was finished that I sent out to agents that didn't really go anywhere, but it's not the genre I really want to write in anymore. So I don't feel like making it good enough to get it published or self-publishing it either. I'm kind of like, that was then, I did it, fine. I want to move on. So this book, the intuitive hit that I got was that it would be short and sweet, which there's a little discomfort that I have around that of even though I know it's probably going to be high value, it feels very short to me. So I have a little discomfort about that. And also I got this feeling of like just have a short turnaround time, get it out there so that it can be a book that people can be buying and reading and it's affecting them. Um and I'm probably somewhere between 50 and 75% done since it is going to be quite a short book. But I've just noticed that I'm not prioritizing my writing time. Like the past 2 days, I tried putting it on my calendar, and in the evening, sometimes I should probably, or I could be going to bed earlier, so I'm more able to wake up and feel alert enough to work on it. So there's a little bit, yeah, I don't, that's one of the things. The other thing is that with my business and trying to grow it and grow my YouTube channel and get clients and things like that, I know that it would be good for me to start delegating some of the things to other people because of I'm really great on the ideas side and the creativity and letting all the creative things just be like a buffet. And um but I don't know, it's funny, even as I'm talking about this with you, I'm feeling so that issue is kind of like, why am I not delegating? Why am I having a hard time about it? I know some of the things I want to do, but paying someone to do them, I have a resistance about that. But I also feel like even me talking about that in my heart, I feel that getting this book out is the most important priority in the short run, more so than these other things.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, why don't we start with the book?
Okay.
And I'm just going to ask you, what is it that's getting in your way?
I think one of the things getting in my way is, well, it's funny. Whoa, my mic sometimes does this. Did you notice it?
Yeah, it's quite loud.
I know. I think I need to get a new microphone. All right. All of a sudden I'm on stage and the mic goes up. So, well, it's funny because part of me was thinking you're going to ask, well, what is it about? And blah, blah, blah. And what is the title and all that? And that's fine that that's not what you asked. But I think when I think about talking about it, there's a discomfort in being an authority with a published book. And so this book is it's me sharing what the trees have taught me. Like I'm essentially channeling wisdom from the trees, which I feel like is a little bit out there for some people. And I have been consistently working for probably almost a year on, I mean, I've always been out there in terms of doing things that other people don't like or think are weird, and I still keep on doing them. And then there's times maybe when I just want to like blend in and not be the weird one, or I want to have community, and it feels a little easier to have community when I'm not the weird one. And yeah, so I think part of it could be this me putting this book out there, even though I know that some people are really going to like it. I know some people are probably going to think it's really stupid and make fun of it. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, you wrote this short little book about what the trees have to say. Aren't you just a little, I don't know, stupid hippie or whatever? Like there's a part of me that feels that, and then there's a part of me that's then there might be other people who are like, well, who are you to speak for the trees, kind of almost in Lorax fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like what makes you qualified to do that? I don't know if that bothers me as much. Not really the qualified part. I mean, who's really qualified to speak for the trees anyway? But I think it's also that there's a level of, I could see that people will or could discount and think that it's stupid or foolish. And it's okay if it's not, it's okay if there's a lightheartedness. I'm a lighthearted person. I like to joke, but, and I think even fools can teach us things, but it's not, I think it's that it's very important to me. And so it's maybe also that feeling of, if I put something out that is really special, some people are going to think it's stupid. They're going to think it's foolish. They're going to make fun of it. So there's that. And then there are probably people who I'm thinking of, maybe if they come from an indigenous background and they're like, well, maybe she's talking about our wisdom, but who is she to talk about our wisdom? She's not us.
So I'm hearing a lot of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my questions for you is, what will the cost be to you if you don't do this?
I do feel like there is a big cost, because I've been wanting to have a book published for many years. And it not even that I need to like check it off. I have published manuscripts, which are fine. I mean, I don't really care that much about them, but it's like, I know I can do it. But this is something that means a lot to me. And I also feel that I have started a lot of books that have not been published, that have not seen completion. Some people have seen parts of them, but none of them have been out there for people to purchase or review or think about beyond the select people that I've said, hey, read this, or the editors or agents that I've sent things to.
Hmm.
Oh, and then is there anything else that it'll cost? Well, I feel that it'll also cost me forward movement because I almost feel and it's not exactly like inertia, but I do feel that I see myself as a writer with many published books, and yet I'm not that yet.
So if you had your books published, who would you
Mhm.
be? Who would you be?
Mm. Hmm. I do feel I would have a more pride or feeling of success about myself. So there is a little bit of the image of how I see what I've done, that sense of accomplishment. I would have that, which I like. Also, though, what comes up when you ask that question is there's a sense of feeling a loss of control of it's entering into something that I don't know what that entails and becoming because to me this vision that I have for myself of a writer and a speaker it's both of those going hand in hand and even though neither of them feel daunting to me, and I like the actions of both of them, like if I, in my mind, fast forward 3 months or 5 months down the road, and that book is published and I'm working on another one, there's also a little bit of this scrambling feeling of like, but what if it's almost like, what if there's too many things and I can't manage the things? And yeah, like a loss of control and not exactly in over my head, but more scrambling is kind of the best way to explain it.
Hmm. So you're afraid to be in that position of scrambling, although the cost of not doing it is going to prevent you from getting to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a question um, about giving others the control, giving others the power, because when you are focused on what other people are thinking of you and how other people are going to think of you, you're giving away your power.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would agree with that.
And you're giving all of the um it's the act or react.
Mm,
So how are you going to act, or are you going to be reacting to how others are receiving
mm,
what you are creating?
mm-hmm,
And yeah, so there's a loss there
mm-hmm,
if if you're holding the power in all of those people who we don't even know who they are.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who may or may not. And I mean, there's always haters, right?
Yes.
There's always going to be that. So it's how do you free yourself from paying attention or worrying about what
Mm-hmm.
everybody else thinks,
Mm-hmm.
so that you're able to act?
Yeah. And that's a good question. And do you think so? It's funny because I mean, I know I did share about the concern about what the people think, but I do feel like the scrambling feeling. Do you think that's me trying to react to managing all these external things? Is that,
I'm
I don't know.
it's for you to answer.
I I'm not really sure. I know that when you talk about people, not everybody's gonna like it. All of that makes sense to me. And logically or mentally, that's not what feels that is stopping me. I don't feel like, okay, I'm gonna avoid this because I'm not saying that's not why I'm actually avoiding it.
Mhm.
Um, but so I guess that's a part of it, but I don't know what this scrambling feeling is. I think part of it also is I don't know, like, let's say it's successful to whatever degree,
Mhm.
moderately successful. I think then there's a feeling of how will I manage all that and handle it? And maybe I don't, not even that I'm not prepared right now, but yeah, maybe it is a little bit of wanting to prepare too much before moving forward rather than just trusting that I'll know what I need to know when I need to know it or do what I need to do. Hmm.
Are you someone who likes to plan everything before you execute it? Do you plan?
I do plan a lot. Over the past number of years, I work on planning less for some things or giving myself shorter periods of time to make a decision. Um, and there are certain things where I can be quite decisive, but business wise, decisiveness has not been my strong suit. And I'm trying to think if work wise, they're also often, like I said, I've started many books and then moved in another direction. This one I know I can finish because it's short. But now that I'm 75% there with a short book, it's almost like, is it the finishing and the putting it out? Yeah, to avoid what comes next. Did we already say this? I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself.
No, it's quite fine. I'm laughing because it, what keeps coming up for me is the fear of success.
Yeah. That could be. I wouldn't call myself successful over the last number of years.
Mm.
So, um, even though I think success would be lovely, at least mentally, I think that. But yeah, I'm so successful parent and that they're alive and they're okay, doing fine. I don't consider myself a great parent. And I'm not saying that to put myself down,
Mm.
but because it has been a struggle day in and day out to all the parts of it are a struggle for me.
Hardest job on the planet.
Yes. And so also for the past number of years with the pandemic, I was kind of forced back into being a stay-at-home mom, even though I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. So it's like there's a lot of emotional, I feel over the past since I left teaching and have been doing business on my own, there've been a lot of stops and starts and that's part of it too sometimes is this feeling of, well, it's all fine and good what I can do, but if everybody gets sick or if everything falls apart, I'm the one who always gets expected to step away from what I'm doing and handle everything. I'm the one who, if my husband is making 10 times what I'm making, it doesn't make sense if the children have to do e-learning for him to stop. It makes sense for me to stop and take care of them. Um, and sorry, or I don't really have to apologize, but I'm almost like, okay, I forgot there was all that emotional stuff about it. It's not even just fear. I think it is fear of success. And there's all this emotional frustration of trying for success and feeling thwarted for like 8 years running. So, because even before the pandemic, there was a lot of stops and starts and attempts and reboot, redirect, reorientation. Yeah.
So what if this doesn't work? What happens?
Mhm. That's a good question. You know, mm, I think it's two things. I mean, I do feel a little like a deflated balloon, a little bit inside when you say that, like, but, but I also do know that I'm a creative person. So if it doesn't do great, that's okay. Um, it does make me think though, I might be putting a lot of pressure on this. It's almost like when you've had a lot of disappointment and you keep on thinking, this is the next thing, this is going to be my golden ticket. I think there's a little bit of that I'm doing to this of this is my next thing. I would love to have this mindset, and I try mentally to think it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Like I'm just steadily plodding,
Yeah.
whatever, plodding along. And but emotionally, there's a frustration of the time and this feeling of a desire for a golden ticket, I guess you could say, and almost a holding tight to it of this golden ticket has got to work. So I'm giving it extra pressure or like perfectionism of like, I have to make this work, but I don't know how to make this work. And yeah, all of that feels very tight and controlling.
So if you were your best friend, what would your best friend tell you?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, it's funny. I think I heard a dog shaking and I
Yeah.
was thinking, I don't have a dog, but the dog would be like, shake it off, shake it off. And when your dog was, I feel like that's what your dog was telling me. Shake it off, Rachel. Um, mm, mm. Well, sorry, I forgot how we're doing on time. I guess you'll keep track of
Yeah,
that, but
yeah, no worries.
I now it's like the whole other can of worms. Oh, the Pandora emotional Pandora's box that this opens up is I don't really feel like I have a best friend right now. I mean, I have a husband, he's a wonderful
Yeah,
person. In some ways, he's my best friend, but not in the way that I'm thinking of that you're speaking
yeah.
of. And so that there's also that part of me of because of life circumstance over the past number of years, there has been a feeling of loneliness that I've had. And earlier this summer of this year, I was like, I need to focus on friendship more than I focus on business because
Mm.
I need friends in my life feeling like I belong more than I need financial success right now or acclaim, accomplishments, whatever measures of success that those things would give me. So yeah, but a friend I know would say, the friends that I do have would say, either like take the pressure off yourself, and they'd say, is your first published book. So just put it out there and we'll buy it. And maybe some other people will buy it. Maybe lots of people will buy it. And if nobody buys it, but us, well, then, we'll invite you over to sit in front of the fire pit and wrap up in blankets and drink hot cocoa and we'll talk about it and we'll cry about it and you'll write another book after that. So yeah, I guess that's what they'd say.
And how would that feel for you?
That would feel fine.
Would it feel fine?
Yeah, I think it makes me think. I feel like for me to do for me to take the big steps that I'm taking, it's like I see that I want to have the people who I can go to if it doesn't turn out okay, and they'll be there for me.
Mm.
So,
And I
yeah,
wonder,
and I have a few of those relationships I'm trying to deepen or cultivate or new ones to make. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wonder if that is part of the fear of putting it out. Are you worrying about what those people will think?
Uh, I would say the closest people to me are gonna either love it or not have negative feelings about it. So I do feel good about that. I'm sure there are gonna be some other people who think it's weird, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I do think, and I didn't realize it until just talking about it now, but yeah, this feeling of having someone that I can call if, it's been out for 2 weeks and there were only 3 sales, and those were people that I had to, like, practically pay them to buy my book type of thing. Um, so yeah, taking the pressure off of myself and really reminding myself of, like, for me, true life success is having those relationships that make me feel really good and that fuel me and feed me. Um, because I do, it's almost like now that I'm thinking about it, if I knew, okay, in December, I could have this little fire pit party that we're either celebrating or crying, but it's going to happen one way or the other. And I've got those people there. Um, that makes me feel some comfort knowing that I'm not just struggling alone.
And the success or the failure of anything is does not relate to your value as a human being.
Yes, I know.
Do you?
Hmm. Yes, I do. But I also feel very much like I like doing work that makes impact on people. And I feel that that's very important to me. And it goes back to this whole, like, for the past 8 years, I feel like I've had a very minimal impact except on my kids. And I know that's the most important job, but that's not really, I don't know. It's almost like it didn't turn out how I wanted it to be. And it's not, I mean, one day I know I'll be proud of the people they turn out to be. But right now I'm in the thick of the daily grind that is very energy and emotionally intensive. And it doesn't feel like an accomplishment in any way.
Mm.
Um, and I mean, for better or worse, I like outside recognition. I like when people are like, that was so great that you did that. Um, and I know I don't need it. Like, I love myself and value myself, but things like that are what make me feel really good.
Well, validation is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so if you were, what can you do to make that fire pit party a reality? What could you do to
Mm-hmm.
make that a reality in December?
Yes. Well, I need to find a friend with a fire pit because my backyard is too small for a fire pit with more than 2 people around it. um, but there's also a few breweries near me that may have little fire pit things, so it doesn't necessarily need to be at somebody's house. Um, so yeah, I think I love the idea of finding the place. I'm making myself a list right now and inviting the people and telling them that I want to do this. And I also think I've a little bit been having some accountability, but I'm making a note of almost like a virtual cheerleading team of, I bet, even though I don't have a lot of close friends, I bet I could pick 10 people that I could say, hey, will you text me in a week and ask me how the book is going? Or just text me and say, did you write in the last 5 days? Here's a cute emoji because you did. Like, people cheering me on and checking on me, because whatever level of success the book has, because validation is so important to me, if I ask them to compliment me for writing, then that'll feel good.
So it's accountability, and that
Mm-hmm.
that does help.
Yes.
What about a deadline? Do you work to deadline?
Yeah, kind of. I have a deadline, but that hasn't been making me work any faster.
Mhm,
I made
mhm.
this Wednesday I met with an accountability buddy and I made deadlines, and her and I are meeting next week, in which I'll have to report, like, did I meet it or did I not?
Right.
Um, but as I'm talking this out, I'm thinking the last time I had a very good writing habit, I gave myself daily goals and I had a thing on the wall. So I think I'm going to try that again, print out my daily word tracker, because even I'm glad that I'm meeting with this friend next week, but it's enough time that it's very easy for me to procrastinate and wait till the last minute, and then I've got 2,000 words to write in one night, which theoretically I could do, but I might not. Um, so if I give myself a 500 word count per day, that's very easy, and I can get back in the habit of doing that.
And what can you let go of so that you can accomplish those 500 words a day?
Hmm. Yeah, what can I let go of? I think, well, I know two things. I just don't know if I'll make myself do it. So I might need to do a little brainstorming, but I tend to go on social media or do email stuff or random things like that more than is necessary for what I'm doing. So I might, let's see here. I'm just making myself some notes. I'm thinking I could delete the apps off my phone or get one of those, it blocks the apps for a certain period of time thing. That's probably more likely. And I have a focus mode on my phone. I can set that at night to remind myself in the morning. I don't know how to do anything about my email to make myself open that less. Um, but those are little things that could easily get me half an hour more a day. And then, I know, okay. The other thing, I sometimes use Focus Mate. So I can go ahead and schedule some Focus Mate sessions. Because when I tell those people, I don't know if you've used Focus Mate before, but it's like an accountability co-working thing. So if I schedule those sessions, then I'll write.
So if you
Uh,
if you create yourself some structure and you set a
mm-hmm,
set a time every day, and if it's manageable, if it's half an hour, it
mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be an hour and a half. It can be
Yes,
half an hour, because in half an hour you can waste all sorts of time on social media.
yes.
Or, but if you have half an hour blocked off, that's, sacrosanct. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is time that nobody else is going to infringe upon. Nobody's going to, you're not going to answer the phone, you're not going to check your texts. This is
Yes.
this is like the cone of writing.
Yes.
And then set up all of the things that you need, apps, what have you, to
Right.
focus sessions, to do that, even half an hour. And if you don't make 500, whatever you've got in that half an
Yes.
hour.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you do that, 5 days a week,
Yeah.
where will you be at by the end of the week?
Oh, yeah. Well, I might almost be done because I really only have like about 3 to 4,000 words left to go. I mean, there will be editing and revising, but in terms of my initial
Right,
word count, so
right.
I'm not that far off. Yes. And I know I already feel with this fire pit party, it's almost like now that I've got the emotional stuff out of the way, all the habits that I typically have that get me writing, I already have all those tools, except for the email blocking and social media blocking apps. But I know those aren't hard to find. So
Right.
I could just get one of those where it's, I say, set it for the next hour or two. I can't do those things when it's my cone of writing silence.
You could also leave your phone in another space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, kind of. I don't usually I'm more likely to do my phone in the evenings, or I mean, yeah, mornings or evenings, but I'm also the go-to person to pick up the kids. So if the nurse
Mm.
calls, I have to have my phone nearby in
Right.
case that could happen.
Right.
So, but yes, if I'm in a focus mate session, I don't check my phone because I check in with the person, we say what we're working on, and then I work on it. I'm really good about doing it, but I haven't scheduled a focus mate session in 2 or 3 weeks. So
All right. So I want to go to the next thing that you wanted to talk about, just because I'm
yes,
looking at the time. So, as far as your book, you've got some action steps, some
yes,
action plans, and a fire pit party, which sounds exciting either way.
I know.
And so then the business and the delegation piece.
Hmm.
Um, so that sounds like something. Is that something that you want to be doing now, or that you are imagining doing after the book is accomplished?
You know, the more in talking with you, it feels that it's an after thing because a few things. If my book is the most important priority for me to accomplish right now in business work life, which I feel that it is, then it's almost one of those, if I was a big corporation and we're like, all the money's going to research and development, then that's what's happening. We're not doing all the other projects. We've got one project that we're focused on. So to me, it feels like get that out there, get that published. I'm a little bit, I'm in communication with the VA team, and I have thought about uh that'll be in 2-ish weeks. And so I've thought about if it feels like a good fit, they can help me launch the book. Like I
Mhm.
could immediately bring them on and have them help me with that. And that would be a good trial run for, do we like working together? Um, and I already, it's like there's a certain amount of money I know I'm going to allocate to a book cover designer and all of these things with getting the book out. So it's not that much, at least I think right now, not that much emotional stuff for me to hire somebody to also help with the whole launch process. So I could see waiting till then, or even later, waiting till the book is out, because the stuff that they want to help me with, um, it's almost like they're nice to have things that would be helpful, but not essential. And that's the other piece too. It's like, I think the things that they would help me with could free up my time somewhat so that I can be connecting with more people, bringing in more business. And yet, until it's me paying them to do things that are all maybes, because what they would really be helping me do is stuff related to the content creation side of my business. And that is a long game for bringing in income anyway, which I think is where I get into the push pull about, is it worth it? Because sure, they'll help me get more blog posts up or more videos out faster. But if that doesn't result in clients for 6 months, then there's 6 months of me having all this output that, anyway, so you get where
Yeah.
I'm going with
Yeah.
this.
So do you feel like it's more a one step at a time, finish the book and then see what you need? Because maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
marketing, maybe you need help setting up book signings,
Exactly.
maybe you need social media post blasting around the book, maybe you need a landing page. I mean, there's lots of things
Right.
that you could be doing, like a book trailer. There's all sorts of things that you can
Yes.
do to help get a book out there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's where if you want to focus on this book,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe you need to laser focus a little bit,
Yeah.
and even after it's written, um, see what other people have more skill in.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, there's lots of things I don't know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
So where can you strategically put your funds that you have
Mm-hmm.
that will focus on that one thing? And
Yes, that's a great idea. Yes, because even though the VAs I've been in touch with, they have skills. I don't, their skills from what I can tell so far are not in the book marketing specified niche.
yeah.
And it might make sense for me to take, let's say 500, I would pay them, pay 500 to somebody who's like, I only do this one thing and this is what I do and it's
Mhm,
$500, but
mhm.
bam, now you've got your whatever thing.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's a great point. Mm-hmm. Yes, I like
So
that.
are you feeling that you've got some action steps now?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and more so than the action is the desire to take the action. Or not feeling blocked. I mean, I don't know if I would describe it as blocked. It was more avoiding. It just felt like I kept on finding everything else to do. I kept on procrastinating, and that's why I wanted to come to you, because I'm thinking, I know I want this and I know I'm procrastinating and
Mhm.
this is not working. So,
Good.
um, yeah. And I also know the way I don't always ask for help from others. So asking friends, hey, will you support me emotionally in this? You know, asking 10 people, hey, will you check in with me once in the next 10 days about how my writing's going? I'm sure that's an easy yes for some people, and that'll make them feel good and it'll make me feel good.
Hmm.
So that feels really positive.
And when are you going to book your party?
Um, well, I know it's going to be in December, and I'm not quite sure. Like, I don't know the date yet, but I'm going to book it soon because I'm also, my birthday's coming up soon.
Oh,
So it's
good.
like that, I'm also a little bit planning a thing, small thing for that. But yes, I will. That'll also help keep me on track with the writing, because if it's hard to celebrate or have a sad party if the book isn't at a place for us to evaluate
All right.
what kind of party we're having.
All right.
Yeah, so maybe it'll just be called The Book Is Out Party. I
Yeah.
don't even know if it'll have a name, but
Oh, yeah.
hmm,
A name is good.
yeah.
All right. Well, can I check back with you in a week or so and see how you're doing?
Sure, that would sound wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm glad you've got a little plan happening, and thanks for letting us do this on screen today.
Mm, thank you. I feel a lot better. Um, much, much better. So I'm really glad that you helped me see through this and find a path forward and have a good plan and feel good about it.
Great. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, Jen.